Hey, everybody. How's everybody doing? Welcome to True Crime Tuesday, another episode with your host, me, Feminine and Fierce. I hope you guys are having a great week. Thank you guys for coming by and supporting me for True Crime. Malarkey will follow after, so I hope you'll join me there as well. How are you guys doing? Hey, News. Hey, Lakita. I did notice you were the first one, Lakita. Hey, Missy. Hey, CP. Hey, Megan. Hey, Tooties. Hey, Christine. Now, as you guys know, we always start out True Crime Tuesday playing a little game that we may not be good at, but we try still. We're not quitters over here. Hey, Marisol. Hey, Glenda. What it do? Hey, Tina. Hey, Vicky. Hey, Dawn. So, we're going to start that off. If you're over on Facebook, make sure that you come join us on YouTube. There's a link right at the top of the page that you're currently on. If you're on the live on Facebook, all you have to do is exit that live, scroll to the top, click the link, come on over and join us. You can click that live chat. But all I ask is that you hit that X on the right hand side, go out and hit that thumbs up. I'd greatly appreciate it. I do true crime on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 9 p.m. Eastern. If that changes, I always let you guys know. And I do appreciate the support. Malarkey, 7 days a week. I do skip some here and there, but for the most part, we're here at least 5, 6 days a week, I'd say. Um, Appreciate you guys. Also, we do have a members group where I post exclusive content, little videos, post different things, court documents, whatever the case may be, whatever I'm talking about. So definitely check that out. We have a good group going over there. But without further ado, let's get into the game. Hopefully, we can play it a little bit better this week. So I've got one. We're going to match the arrestee with their crime. We have one, two, three, four, and five. The possible crimes that they could have done: disorderly intoxication, prostitution, a good old 304, aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, driving with a suspended license, and cocaine possession. So, what do we think? I always look at y'all's comments and pick whoever I see first. I feel like number one is going to be disorderly intoxication. I mean, I think that's a he, just looks like he's not having a good day, honey. Not having a good day. If she doesn't go over it, I'll give you the scoop at the end. What scoop? What case are y'all talking about? Julie, let me know. Oh, get your snacks. Yes, I saw that. There is a thing now where you can hype up the creator, hype up the video. So if you guys would definitely hype it up, if you've got any, I think when you scroll, like when you look at the video, when you're not in the live chat, it'll say like comments, hype it up, or the live chat, like on the replay. I'm not sure how it looks when we're live. Hey Sandra. But yeah, that is definitely a new thing now to hype it up. Four is drinking. Let's see. 2 is the 304. All right, we're going to do 2 is the 304. There we go. We got number 2. We got 3, 4, and 5. I feel like they say Kokiana is like a rich girl's thing. All right, so we got 3 and 4. Driving, aggravated assault and driving with a suspended license. So who do we think was driving with a suspended license? And who do we think assault? I don't know. Number 3 looks like she definitely looks like she assaulted somebody, honey. Um, okay, you agree with that, Christine? 3 says, "Yep, she definitely assaulted someone." All right, let's do it like this. See what we got. Oh, snap. Look at that. 3 out of 5. All right, number 1, disorderly intoxication. Number 2 was the 304. Whoever said that, you got it right. Number 3 was actually driving with a suspended license. Now, I thought number 3 definitely looked like I was with Christine. I definitely felt like the way she was looking, she was definitely had done some assault that day. Number 4 is actually aggravated assault. Granny said, "Don't play me, baby. Uh, try Jesus, not me." And number 5, Kokiana possession. You got the little rich girl getting the Kokiana, honey. All right, let's go. And if you guys want to play this game or ever look at this website, there's all kinds of stuff on here. They've got mug shots of people, all kinds of stuff. Let's go to the last page here and see what we got. Oh, I've not seen this one. But yeah, this is a smoking gun website. You can go to Time Waster. That's where you'll find these games. Oh, they got broadcasters. Match the arrestee with the broadcaster whose name they share. Huh. Well, let's do this little gangster one. I might know some of these. All right, we got 5 gangsters up there. We have to guess their names. We got Edward Eddie the Blonde Falco, Vincent Vinny Nap Napoli, Stevie the Stevie Wonder Crea, Alexander Black Alex Morelli, and Giatana. I don't know. Giatono. I don't know how to say that. Corky Vastallo. So there we go. Who do we think? If do you guys know any of these people here? I do think, I recognize the blonde Falco. I think this which obviously if you look, this guy clearly has dark hair. This guy, it's a not a black and white photo. He's got dark hair. So it can only really be, and he looks like he's number 1 looks like he's got dark hair. So really, but I think I recognize number 3. Anybody else know any of these gangsters? Anybody know their names? Who do we think is Vincent? Who do we think is Stevie? Who's Black Alex? And who is Corky? Glasses is Stevie Wonder. Okay. Glasses is Stevie Wonder. That's funny. All right. Glasses is Stevie Wonder. All right. Oh, click. Stay. All right. All right. Let's see. What we got here? Do, 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 do. Hey, hey, everybody coming in. Anybody got any guesses? Got any guesses? Oh, Corky is number 5, you think? Okay, so let's move. You think Corky's I see a lot of people saying Corky is 5. So let's move Corky to 5. And then somebody said number 2 was Vincent. So who do we think Stevie Wonder then? Let's do Vincent for this one because I saw somebody say Stevie Wonder this one. And then this is Alexander Black Morelli. Let's see what we got. Oh, all right. 3 out of 5. Hey, we haven't done bad. At least we didn't get a 0 out of 5. All right. Here's what we got wrong. The first one is Vincent, Vinny Nap Napoli. I guess because he put you in a nap, honey. He's going to put you to sleep. Stevie Wonder is number 2. All right. So I did recognize the blonde Falco. I did recognize him. Oh, number 4 is actually Black Alex. Huh. I wonder why he got that nickname, Black Alex. And number 5, you guys were right. A few of you guys must have recognized Corky Vistala, or you guys were just guessing right because several of you guys said Corky is number 5. So there we go. 2 games, both 3 out of 5. I will take it, honey. I'll take it compared to the recent results we've been having. So Facebook, that means your time is up. You love these icebreakers? Me too, bald head. It just, it gets it in, especially because I feel like true crime is such a, trigger warning. I always try to give trigger warnings. Viewer discretion is advised. I feel like it can be such a uh, hard topic, especially when we're talking about kids and things like that. And so I feel like these things at least, started off with a little bit of, laughter and just get it, like you said, icebreaker. 6 out of 10 tonight. I love it. We did good. But Facebook, this is where I do say goodbye to you. We are going to get in straight into a developing story that has happened since we were here last Tuesday. Also, we will be getting into the updates in the Emmanuel Harrow case, as today the parents were charged with murder. They did appear in court, although they were only there for a few minutes. They did not enter a plea, although the mother is still saying she's innocent. But we're going to get into that. But first, I want to buy Facebook. But first, I do want to talk about this case that has just happened. And I want to, let me put this in the comments. Hold on. Hold on one second, y'all. I just want to get this here. Second, guys, I'm just getting the video ready. And also getting a little thing that I want to put in the comments. All right, there we go. Just got counts here. Right. All right, hang on one second. It. Right. Sorry, guys, I'm just looking at these videos to see how far we are in processing. Okay, so I think this one's still uploading. So I think what we'll do is we'll go into the updates first, and then we'll go into the next story because it's still uploading. Let's see here. All right, there we go. Go to this one. Start out with that. My apologies. I didn't realize that it was still, I guess because I clicked off of the YouTube app, maybe. I don't know. Because I uploaded it around, I think like 8:30 is when I finally sent it in. But we'll watch this one instead. Heck. Oh, okay, never mind. The other one. Let's see, which one is it now? It's showing me on my phone. Sorry, guys. It's showing me on my phone that they're uploaded, and then when I go to do it on here, it's not showing that. So just hang tight for a minute. Speak amongst yourselves. All right, this one is done. So let's do this one first. The sad story. Okay. Such a sad. I mean, they're all sad and tragic. I think all true crime is sad and tragic. And then I'll find that little disclaimer that I want to put in the comments. Okay. So some of you guys may have heard of this story. Please, no spoilers in the chat. Some people may have not heard about the story. We will talk about it after, so please, no spoilers in the chat. But this is the tragic story of Emily Long, a mom fighting depression and a husband fighting brain cancer. And sadly, it had a very heartbreaking ending. But she did put everything online.
I want to grow up. I want this to be a nightmare. I don't want this to be my life.
It was a diagnosis no family should have to take on. A 48-year-old husband and father of 3 diagnosed with terminal brain cancer. His wife taking to TikTok to grapple with her grief.
It's just hard to have this life and have absolutely nothing in my control.
But what no one could have predicted, the next step she would take, murdering her husband and 2 of her 3 children, leaving behind only one cryptic TikTok to make sense of it all.
I have been struggling so much and really depressed and just have really become reclusive.
We have 2 young children who were murdered in their own home while their 3-year-old brother was shockingly spared from it all. Today's episode takes us to Madbury, New Hampshire. It's about 65 miles up the coast from Boston. And that's where 34-year-old Emily Long lived with her family. Her husband, 48-year-old Ryan Long, their oldest son, 8-year-old Parker, the middle child, their 6-year-old daughter Ryan, and a 3-year-old son. and we're not going to reveal the son's name just to protect his privacy. Now, in the photos, it seems like the Long family was really happy. They're a quintessential New England family. They've got a bunch of cute fall pictures. It looks like they're smiling and living it up. But all of that changed when Ryan, the father, received some devastating news in April 2025. He was diagnosed with glioblastoma, which is a terminal brain cancer. Shortly thereafter, Emily started making TikTok videos about Ryan's journey, including his cancer treatment and updates just like this one.
It's just like, okay, now we have totally lost control. At least when he was going through radiation, I know that it's been hard on him. I know that it's been exhausting. His brain is swollen. He feels so many symptoms. That has been hard for me as a partner to watch. But now we're in a phase of monitoring where like reoccurrence can happen, where during radiation, it has totally halted. So I feel a lot of anxiety about that. It's hard to like fathom life without this treatment because we're counting on it so heavily. Like we have relied on this to stop the growth of his tumors, and I can't fathom not having this because it was like our safety net of comfort. So I'm just curious, like, as you move past the standard of care, because this is like the first of hopefully many, or hopefully none, either a ton, which means his reoccurrences are treatable, or nothing, which means he doesn't have a reoccurrence. Like those are like my really only two options that I will accept.
Throughout it all, Emily documented how Ryan dealt with the treatment, how he was feeling, and really just detailed their love story. In this particular TikTok, she writes, "Watch me brag about my husband for 7 minutes."
But my husband is like processing. I see it as puttering, but he is processing everything. He is listening. He is thinking about every side, every angle. He's always devil's advocate as much as it literally kills me. He's so thoughtful in his decisions. He's the most ethical human on this entire planet. Like every single decision that he makes is based on his code of ethics, and it's like so respectful. I cannot even handle it. He's taught me how to be a good partner.
So sad.
Like he's taught me how to be vulnerable and you know, okay with like relying on someone else. Like I was never okay with it. I'm still not good at it.
I agree.
How to like ask for help and all these things that he's through
Yeah,
our
Crystal.
relationship taught me. And like now I'm just like, ugh, what a waste. Like
Ugh.
you don't even get to like live in like the fruits of your labor. Like you've given.
Also, I did pin the suicide prevention lifeline. You can text or call 988 if you or someone you know is experiencing thoughts in a crisis, needs someone to talk to. There is help out there. It can be anonymous. You can text. You can call. They don't have to know anything. Obviously, if you're going to hurt yourself, then obviously they want to get you the help, but there is help out there. I also want to say that I understand that it's hard to intervene, especially in someone's life, but when people are saying words like, I feel hopeless, it is good to find out that is a major red flag when people are experiencing hopelessness. If they feel there is no hope, that is dangerous. And I would suggest if you do come in contact or have a friend that feels hopeful or hopeless, I would suggest that asking them, what does that mean to you? When you say you feel hopelessness, what does that look like for you? And just, open that conversation and gauge where someone's at, because again, that is a huge red flag. Giving away possessions, um, not making any future plans. There are a lot of red flags. You can find all of that out. If you are a family member or a friend that wants to know how to be there for someone who is experiencing this, or maybe you're not the one who's experiencing it, but you have it in your life, there are tools out there to help you deal with that as someone who is close to someone dealing with that as well. So there's help on all aspects, whether you're the person experiencing it or whether you are close to someone experiencing it. There are tools and resources out there. So I just wanted to put that out there.
Me so much, and like I don't get to like show that to you and share that with you. And I think that's one of the things I'm going to miss, is being able to like show him how wonderful he's been to me, and like he can enjoy that. And I think that bums me out big time. But the thing that I love about him the most, and when I think of times where we won't be together anymore, like the thing that breaks my heart the most, is like at the end of the night, being together, like either laying in bed or like watching a show or just like hanging out in the kitchen, and me recapping my day. I work in the restaurant industry, so like every single second of my day is absolute chaos. It is totally insane, and I see the most unhinged things. And then like in my private life, like everything that happens to me is bizarre. Like I'll explain someday, but like the people I run into at the grocery store are bizarre. Like just everything that happens to me is like a joke. I swear to God, I'm on a prank show. And I love like telling him and like recapping all of the insane things that happen to me every single day, and him just like absolutely roasting me and like teasing me about it, and just like always telling me that I bring it upon myself because I'm such a busybody, nosy person, that of course the universe has like bombarded me with these bizarre situations because I have like put that energy out into the universe. And I just love like the teasing that he does. It just cracks me up, like crying, laughing every single night, where he's like, what is wrong with you? How can all these things happen to you? And like that is my favorite time of day, is like sitting down and like going through all that stuff. And it's just like such a bummer that I think that one day that might not be the case.
A main focus of Emily's videos were, of course, her family as a whole. Obviously, she talked about Ryan, but also their 3 kids. And she talked about the hard stuff too, like how she told the kids about the diagnosis.
We really hashed out like what we were going to say, what words we wanted to use, how much we were comfortable telling them, and like what the consensus was going to be of what we were going to share, and making sure that we weren't lying, but we were giving them age-appropriate information. And we just kind of sat on the bed and we said, the doctors let us know that it is cancer, and it's kind of a nasty kind of cancer.
Yeah, Missy.
In Daddy's brain. You can't catch it. There's nothing that Daddy did to make this happen, and there was nothing that you did to make this happen. Those were one of the things we really harped on, is that it wasn't contagious and there was nothing that anyone did. The other big piece that we really focused on
So sad.
is that right now, Daddy is healthy, he's safe, and he is not sick from the cancer. Originally, we were going to say right now he doesn't have cancer, because they technically got 99% of it, but
Shout out to Lyric for gifting 5 memberships. Shannon got one. Securing the Bag got one. Nicholas got one. Trina got one. And Danielle got one. Shout out to y'all.
that doesn't make sense because he does have cancer and we're going to be doing lots of treatments. So that felt like we were setting ourselves up for them to feel like we were lying to them. So those
awful.
were our main focuses. So then we did get the question that we knew we were going to get from our 8-year-old, which was, is he going to die? And again, our MO was that we were going to be honest, but we were going to be strategic. So we said, one day Daddy will die from this cancer, but that is not today. that is not in the near future. Daddy's really healthy right now, and then we're gonna do things to keep the cancer from coming back. And that's mommy and daddy's job, to make sure that we're doing everything
So
we
heavy.
can to keep daddy healthy and to keep the cancer from coming back.
Yeah,
But that
karma.
it will come back, and one day it will kill daddy.
Oh,
And obviously that's like awful to say to your kids. And our middle, she kind of got it, but she also was just kind of like, I don't want you to die, and I want you to be healthy. Our 8-year-old kind of knew already, but he handled it well.
And Emily's videos took off in a way. She had an outpouring of support, and she even
if you're just coming in and you're lost a little bit, Evelyn, we are talking about the tragic story of Emily Long. Emily Long was a mom who was suffering from depression. Her husband, they had 3 children together. Her husband had neuroblastoma. He had a terminal brain cancer. They were parents to an 8, 6, and I believe 3-year-old child. Emily Long had documented all of her struggles about telling her children the diagnosis, how they're dealing with it. She had documented that all on TikTok, which is what we're watching. Sadly, Emily decided to not only take her life, but she took the life of her husband, herself, her 8-year-old, and her 6-year-old. And she left the 3-year-old in the home unharmed. And so now people are looking back at her TikToks to see what signs were there, if any. And obviously, there were many signs. Granted, no one thinks that the outcome is going to be what it was, but she was open that she was dealing with depression on top of her husband, obviously, was going to pass away. He had terminal brain cancer. They were going through treatment for him, but they knew that it was terminal. So the treatment was more so for quality of life, as bad as that sounds, because the treatment doesn't make your quality of life better, but also just extension of what life he could have. Um, and the father was a school counselor slash psychiatrist. Yes, he was. He was a school psychiatrist, actually. Um, so, yes. Yes, Evelyn, you're fine. I just wanted to update everybody if you're just coming in.
commented on that in some of her posts.
We are so lucky to have every single one of you guys and this community. I just am so thankful. I feel no shortage of love and support. And I know that random people on here, if I messaged any single one of you and said I need someone to talk to, I know that you guys would be there for me.
But throughout all of her videos, there's a through line of sadness.
I hope this is a nightmare and that I wake up one day and they like say, JK, like just kidding. This is psych. Like you're not married to anyone. Like you can start your life over. Or your husband doesn't have brain cancer anymore. Like this is it. Ha ha ha.
And I'm just like having one of those days where I just feel so sorry for myself, and I hate that feeling. And I think my nose is so red because I was crying. I think the other thing that I shouldn't have done that I did was,
I think in this case, I think, and obviously we don't know what she's thinking. As far as I know, I don't know if the family has not shared it, but as far as I've seen, I've not seen anything about, uh, like a letter left or anything. Obviously, she documented all of this stuff on TikTok, but I didn't see quite a letter. But in my mind, as a mother myself, and the fact that she left the 3-year-old alive and unharmed, and obviously the 8 and 6-year-old already knew about dad's diagnosis. In my mind, I think that she thought, let me take the 6-year and 8-year-old out with us because they'll be so sad not having mom and dad here. And I think that she, in her mind, thought, well, the toddler is not old enough to really remember anything. If he goes on with his life, he won't even remember mom and dad or brother and sister, that he won't remember them. Now, obviously, he's going to remember because of the family's going to say, hey, your mom and dad, this is what happened or whatever. But I think in her mom brain, she was thinking, if I leave the 6 and 8-year-old behind, they're going to have to live with this without parents and all of these things. if I leave the 3-year-old unharmed, he's not going to have to go through what the 6 and 8-year-old would go through because he won't have a memory of this. That's the only thing I can think of as far as in my brain. Ballhead, so she unalived herself, her husband, and the 6 and 8-year-old. She left the child's 3-year-old unharmed. So yes, she did. She took her husband, her 2 children, and left their baby in the home unharmed. But the husband did have a terminal brain cancer. Um, I believe that they were pew-pewed. But if I'm wrong, let me know. But I believe that's what it was. They were pew-pewed. Let me know if I'm wrong on that detail, but I don't think I am.
I just thought about everything, like all the layers
It's beyond
of
tragic.
worry, grief, fear,
Yeah, Kelly.
everything. I don't know why I allowed myself to like enter into that zone and like hyperfixate and think about everything, because it's so overwhelming and it like sends me into such a panic spiral. Like I just was, just feeling sad for us.
The TikToks also shed a light on Emily's very real struggle with mental health issues.
The past couple weeks have put me in like a tough spot. The past couple days have been really hard for me. And then the weeks prior to me going on the trip were so hard that I was in a really unhealthy space. Like everyone that I see is like, oh my God, you look so amazing. You look so skinny. You look tiny. And like a year ago, I would have
You're welcome, Kate.
gobbled those compliments up with a spoon. But I do feel myself withering away. Like I am a person where when I'm stressed, like I shut down. I feel sick to my stomach. Like I cannot eat, I cannot sleep, I cannot do anything until this problem is resolved. And obviously this problem is not going anywhere. And I need to come to terms with that. And I think that that is like, it's just been really hard for me to acknowledge like, okay, this isn't going away. This is only going to get worse. Like you can't keep ignoring everything and just hoping that it disappears, because otherwise I'm gonna disintegrate into nothing, and I have 3 kids to look after. I'm still in a really tough place. Like it's not a secret. And I also would never have admitted that, I think, a long time ago. For those who are gonna ask, like, no, I'm not in therapy yet. I am just not there yet. I have thought about it. My girlfriend, who is a therapist, is all over it. She's ready for when the time comes and I say, I need you to help me find someone. She will have someone on speed dial. And so I'm thankful for that too.
You can see
And
it
my
in her
village
face.
is intense. They're respecting my space, but they have made it very clear who's going to be doing what and who's offering me what. And I'm grateful for that too.
This line to me, this next one, is perhaps the most devastating based on what we now know is ahead for Emily and her family.
And I'm trying to keep my kids in the forefront of my mind of like, I'm their mom and they need me forever. So
this next clip is the very last TikTok Emily ever posted.
Okay, I put makeup on and real clothes for the first time. Basically, makeup since we went to the Cape in July, and real clothes in God only knows how long. So I'm trying to get myself out of this rut. I know that I've said this before, but our kids are definitely struggling. And now I'm starting to notice some changes in our 3-year-old, which is tough because he's too young for therapy. I know that people are going to say play therapy. We've done that before, and I just don't really see the benefit in it. And he's too young for talk therapy, obviously. But like, for example, last night he just couldn't sleep. He was up all night long. He was crying. He's never like that. And I've been starting to notice him stirring more at night and just have a harder time. And it's just devastating. But I am determined to create normalcy we were going to go down the street to our neighbors who are our close friends with a bunch of our other friends. I don't think that my husband will come. Maybe he will, because it's right down the street. It's just a couple houses down. But it's important for my kids to be with their friends. And I have been struggling so much and really depressed and just have really become reclusive and just wanted to be with my kids and my husband. And while that might feel good for me, I don't think that that's good for me. So, that being said, I am making a change. It is starting today. I am going to start getting dressed. I am going to probably not put makeup on because I don't really wear makeup very often unless I'm going somewhere, but I need to become more social again. I used to be like the most social human on this planet, and the past month I have basically declined 98% of all offers, and my kids need to be with their friends. So, hold me to it. Today, I am adjusting my perspective, and I'm making a point to get out of my depression and do this for my family. So, that being said, happy Saturday. I hope everyone's having a fantastic day. I'm going to have a fantastic day.
And all of this
Hey,
leads
Nina.
us to August 18th. Someone requested a welfare check for the family, and that's when first responders made the grim discovery. Ryan, the father, had been shot multiple times. The children, Parker and daughter Ryan, had each been shot once. Their
Ugh.
3-year-old brother was unharmed. According to the New Hampshire Department of Justice, based on the information available at this time, it appears that in the early morning hours of Monday, August 18th, 2025, Ms. Long took a handgun from the home and caused the deaths of Ryan Long and her 2 children, Parker and Ryan, and then took her own life immediately thereafter. While investigators are becoming aware of various concerns/issues ongoing in the household at the time of the event in question, people should avoid speculating that this event was caused by a single reason or stressor. Officials also released information about the cause of death for each family member. Associate Chief Medical Examiner Abigail Alexander conducted autopsies today on both minors Parker Long and Ryan Long. Dr. Alexander determined that both children's causes of death were single gunshot wound to the head, and their manners of death are homicide. Chief Medical Examiner Jenny V. Duval conducted autopsies on both adults, Ryan Long and Emily Long. Dr. Duval determined that Mr. Long's cause of death was multiple gunshot wounds, and his manner of death is homicide. Dr. Duval determined that Emily Long's cause of death was a single gunshot wound of the head, and her manner of death is suicide.
Kelly, that is an interesting take on this situation, because someone mentioned it earlier, and forgive me, I can't remember who it was, but I found that interesting that you said she's a narcissist, a red rum narcissist, which is, the worst. It's interesting that you say that because someone in the beginning, when I was starting to show this, said, how come when it is a female, it's mental health, but when it is a male, they're a monster? If a male did this, it would be, oh my God, he's a monster, he's this, he's that. But it seems that people are, in a sense, obviously she did something terrible, but in a sense, like people are rallying behind her, saying, like she was suffering with mental illness, she's did this, that. And I feel like, almost when I was watching her videos and the things that she was posting, and don't get me wrong, cancer doesn't just affect the person that has the cancer, right? Um, as a survivor myself, I get that. Luckily, mine was caught very, very, very early, and I didn't have to go through what a lot of people go through with the cancer diagnosis. Um, and I understand that, but while watching her videos, I almost would forget that it was her husband that actually had the terminal illness. No, Kelly, I think that's a very good observation because, again, I think people see her mental health, things like that. And I get it. Mental health is awful. It's terrible. And it can make you think that, you can get in that position and be so low that you feel like that's the only way out. Um, But I don't see, and I do agree with the person earlier saying, if this was a man, it would be looked at completely different. I do agree. There was the lady actually here locally that was a teacher. She was actually a teacher at the schools that kids, I'll say it like that, kids I love go to. That's how I'll say it. Or have went to in the past. And she was a teacher, and her husband were going through a divorce. And the day before, I think she was trying to get full custody and all these things. Well, the day before this happened, they had went to court and she did not get her way. In fact, the husband actually got I don't think it was even 50-50. I'm pretty sure he got like 100% custody and she got visitations or whatever. And there was some history there. I can't remember exactly what the reasoning was. But so she was a school teacher, and the husband was supposed to pick the children up the next day at school. Now, this is the day after court. He was supposed to pick them up. Well, he went to pick them up, and they had not, he found out that the kids had not even went to school that day, that she was a school teacher. She did not show up for school that day. They went to the house, and she had actually unalived herself and the children. And the man, he had fought for his kids, he had done everything right, and he lost his kids the day after court. And I do think that there is a difference when it is a woman. I will say, even locally, although she had done that terrible thing, she was loved in the community. She was a teacher. A lot of people knew her. They never suspected anything like that. And I feel like it was almost lost, what, even in our community, what tragic thing she did to her own children. And again, I understand that depression and mental health is terrible, and I don't wish that upon anybody. And I pray anybody who's suffering with that gets help that they need and reaches out. Again, I have pinned the suicide hotline. You can text, call anytime. Definitely reach out. There are resources out there, but multiple shots on hubby is significant and crime of passion, something more behind it. It is a horrible story, Kelly, but even in that sense, like I was saying, like you said, narcissist, clearly, it's just strange how, and we do it as a society with all kinds of different things. We look at things differently from a man versus a woman's perspective. Just like we've talked about, and, I don't like to bring up the malarkey in this, but I feel like if Bebe was a man, and some of the things that she says about females and stuff like that, again, it would be looked at completely different. And I do find it interesting that people, again, I understand mental health, so I don't want people to think that I'm dismissing that part of it. But what she did was an awful thing. Um, right, Kelly. Right. It does not give you a mental health does not give people an excuse to do bad things to others. And I'll stand behind that. It does happen. People are, schizophrenic, whatever the case may be, but that's why it's so important to get the help, um, because it's just not an excuse. Hey, Mary. She could have blamed him. So, do you feel, Christine, that in this case, that it wasn't something that she planned out? Um, they said multiple, so I took that as more than twice. Um, So do you feel, Christine, or anybody, do you feel that this was not something that she planned out, rather it was a crime of passion, and then she said, "Oh shit, I've done this. Now I've got to, what am I going to do next?" So she did what she did? See, I feel like this was her answer to things. I feel like she was depressed, so she probably may have already been having those suicidal ideations and things like that. I feel like she was depressed, and I feel like in her depressive mind and her mental health crisis, I feel like in her mind she felt like this was the best way, because she knew her husband was going to pass away. She'd already told the kids. One of the kids had taken it bad. She knew she was going to have to deal with that at some point, where her husband was going to pass, and she was going to have to pick the pieces up of herself and her 6 and 8 and 3-year-old. And she knew the 6 and 8-year-old, they're going to remember this. This is going to shape their lives forever. Something like that, losing a parent, watching a parent pass away from cancer, but having a parent pass away, period, is life forming. But when you're young like that in your adolescence, and not even I mean, they were 6 and 8, watching a parent like that, that shapes their life forever. And she knew she was going to have to deal with that and deal with the conversations after losing him, dealing with the grief. They were already preparing for that. So I feel like she planned this and said, this is my solution. I feel like she saw this in her mental health crisis as her solution. He's going to pass away anyway. So I am going to, unalive him. He's not going to have to suffer through the end stages of cancer, end stages of life. He won't have to suffer. I can't handle the grief. I'm already depressed. So I'm going to take myself out too. And then you know what? Our 6 and 8 year old already knew they were losing their dad. Now they're going to lose their mom. They aren't going to be able to handle it. I don't want to do that to them. So I'm going to take the 6 and 8 year old with me. But you know what? The 3 year old's not going to remember, although they'll hear the stories and have to deal with that, they won't be able to remember or feel the love or miss us because they'll be too small. And that's how I see it. Now, that's just my opinion on outside looking in. Um, but it is interesting that he had multiple, and I'm wondering if that's because he was like, not trying to trying to get away from her maybe or something, and that's why she had to do it 3 times to make sure it was good enough, because I feel like if he was asleep, she could have just done what she did to the children, which we know was one in the upper area of the body, if you get what the head, um, so I'm wondering if maybe he knew what was coming and, oh, it's such a awful story. But I do want to get into our next story and do the updates on the Emmanuel Harrow case. Like I said, all true crimes are trigger warnings. But we had talked about this last week, and there were some developments, obviously, in the case, lots of developments. So I just want to go over those with you guys. And again, no spoilers. We left off last week when the house across the street had caught fire, and they had discovered that baby clothes and pictures and things had been thrown in the dumpster. The parents had not been arrested on murder when we spoke about it last. So, hold on a second. Video better be uploaded. Maybe it's oh, damn, my phone died, but it should have already been uploaded. Let me see. Okay. Well, we're gonna talk about this one a little bit more because I gotta get my phone back on. But we'll get to it. My phone will come on in a second. That's the only thing I don't like about iPhone, that it takes like 5 minutes for my phone to turn back on when I plug it in. My father passed away from cancer when I was 10. When my father passed away, my mother had to raise 6 of us under 11. Oh my goodness, Ann, I can't imagine. I can't imagine you've been waiting for this update. I apologize. Um, but we'll get there. Um, I've just got to let this phone turn back on. I uploaded this at like 8 o'clock, so I'm not sure why it's still not processed all the way. Tina, if it's allowed you to please let me know. I would love to be there to listen to you and allow you to tell your story. Yeah, also, if you guys have true crime stories that you have been directly affected by, to where if you wanted to come up and talk about it and we could pull like the news articles and things about it, I would definitely be interested in something like that. She said her friend who was a therapist talked to her, and her husband was a psychiatrist. Don't you think mental health was discussed a lot? I do, Kelsey, and that's another thing that people are talking about. So her husband was a psychiatrist. I mean, granted, he was a school psychiatrist, but clearly he went to school. And also, one of her best friends was a therapist. So she was speaking, and I don't know. I think maybe that's the case, Kelsey, of he's on the inside, and that's why people can't treat, say, your husband, if he's a psychiatrist, it's a conflict of interest for him to treat his wife, kind of thing. Because I feel like, is it a case where the husband was on the inside and he could not see it for himself? Like, just like us, when we look at a situation online, we're looking from the outside in. So maybe he was just so enwrapped in it, in love with her, maybe he couldn't see it. Oh, you're welcome, Christine. Some of us can't speak this freely in our real lives. We need to also download Remind. I miss chatting with you. Oh yeah, I keep forgetting. I keep doing it on when I send the things, I do it on my computer. So that's why I haven't downloaded it. But yes, I will definitely do it. I always forget. Like you guys know me, like I get off here, I squirrel, and then I forget that we even talked about that. Um, but yes, I think so too. Narcissists think like that. Yeah, so that was another thing about her. I don't know. There was a lot. I mean, she clearly could have gotten help or psychiatric help. She had, like we said, a best friend that's a therapist. Your husband is a psychiatrist. And again, like I said, I don't know if it's the case where maybe her friend and her husband just couldn't see it because they were too close to the situation. And people do mask very well. And I think she probably knew if she told anything about this that they were going to try to stop her. Um, I do look at some of the UK true crime, Mandy, because there's so much that I've not heard of. So I do. I've been looking into it recently. My algorithm, because I'm watching Love Island UK, a lot of UK stuff has been coming in my algorithm. But oh yeah, and the if you guys watch Love Island USA season 7, the reunion came out last night. And I didn't even realize you guys know I did an early live last night and I was like, "Yes." I was like, "I forgot that the reunion comes out tonight." But I think they waited too long. I think they waited too long to do the reunion because it was like 2 hours long and I was checking. I caught myself checking to see how much time was left. So I was like, "Yeah, they did too much." Or I just maybe I what my interest was just gone because it had been, a month since everything happened. I'm not and everything's played out online. My stepmom was red rummed and put in a box in the trunk of a car in a garage when I was 8 in 2005, and it was on the news. I know, but I cannot find it online anywhere. Oh my goodness, Kelsey. You know what? That's crazy because I was looking up a story. We had a lady in Hazard, Kentucky when I lived there, and she was a lady at a laundromat. Like she did laundromat, but my dad wore suits every day, like of my life. And so they would take that, they had like a what do you call it, dry cleaning there. And so my mom would take my dad's suits and everything that needed dry cleaning down there. Well, we had went down there. I think we had dropped my sister off at school and I don't think I was old enough yet to go to school. Maybe my sister was with us. Either way, we went there one morning to the laundromat, and we went in, and nobody was there. And come to find out, she was actually unalived, and it was terrible. My mom actually saw her, found her, and it was awful. But I can't find anything about it online either. So, but yeah, Kelsey, I'll have to look that up to see if I can find it. You have to send me some more information on like where it was and all that stuff, and I'll see what I can find. My son, but I would love that if we could come up and like you could tell your point of view and we could go through like obviously news articles and things like at the time that were happening, and then you could give your point of view and things like that. I would like that aspect. Only reason, and also, I like seeing the old news articles and stuff like that, and also because you know how people are, they'll try to troll and come up here and, say something. My son, who will be 5 in 10 days, remembers every detail watching me give my father CPR and dying when he was 2.5. He's traumatized. So at 3, her son will definitely remember a lot. That's interesting. I will say that people have recounted that they've had memories earlier than 5 because I think people go around about the age of 5, you start remembering little details here and there. Also, it's interesting in like the brain and studying the brain. If children are around stories, so say they have grown up, and I'm not saying this is in your case, but they have done studies on this where children, when you grow up every Christmas, every Thanksgiving, every holiday, the same story is told over and over and over. Kids will start to think that is a memory versus a story they've heard. And again, I'm not saying yours story is that way. So I'm curious if I mean, clearly they're going to be open about what happened. I mean, they're going to have to be. But it would be interesting to know if the 3-year-old remembers anything, or obviously at 3 they're communicating a little bit, right? So I'm curious to know if the baby, or the toddler at 3 said anything. I mean, was the 3-year-old in the room with them? Was the 3-year-old in the room with any of them when it happened? Clearly the 3-year-old would have heard some things going, the pew pew and all those things. Like, I'm curious, and that they have had that 3-year-old in play therapy, or different things like that. So I'm just wondering, what has the 3-year-old said? Because they've said something. The 3-year-old cannot be in that home with 4 people who got pew-pewed and not been affected or not seen it. You get what I'm saying? Like, also I'm wondering, I have so many questions. I'm wondering, did the 3-year-old go over and try to, obviously you've got your family who you love at 3 years old, your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister, right? They're all done, they're all unalived. And I'm not sure how long between when that actually happened and when they called the welfare check, but I would assume to say that the baby was not asleep the entire time. So I can only imagine when that baby either woke up or witnessed it and realized that they weren't talking or moving or anything anymore. I mean, can you imagine what that baby went through? My father's a tattoo artist and was an outlaw. His best friend was Red Run by roommates, and his body parts were scattered around the U.S. They found his head in cement at a truck stop. Oh my goodness, Nick. Whether he remembers or not, I'm sure he'll need therapy either way. Very traumatizing. Yes, Victoria. Well, I think he'll need therapy anyway. If you're an orphan and your parents are not here anymore, that right there, you need therapy. Not only that, but surrounding the case, the details surrounding it, it's like, yeah, definitely, whether he remembers or not, he'll need it. I bet if it was her BFF that called, she likely checked in multiple times a day. Oh, I'm sure. Children tend to either remember traumatic events or they push them out of their memory. He was the first skull reconstructed to see what he looked like. I called him uncle. Oh my goodness, that's heartbreaking. I'm so sorry. Loved getting to know all this stuff, but I hate that. I mean, I'm glad that we get to discuss all these things, but man, some of us have just went through it. How long was the toddler? Right, I don't know, Kelsey. That's what I'm saying. Let me look it up because I'm very interested to know, like, how long would that toddler have? Because I'm sure they know like an approximate time by cell phone records, the bodies themselves. They obviously will know an approximate time of when it happened because all their cell phones, will stop, no activity on all 4 cell phones, because not the 8 and 6-year-old wouldn't have cell phones, but the mom and dad, their cell phone activity would have, ceased to exist at that point. So it would be, let's see, how long it'll tell us. Oh my goodness, it says 12 hours. It says in the Emily Long case, a toddler was found to have been left alone for 12 hours. Oh no, that's a different Emily Long case, I guess. Because that says the case highlights the implications of leaving a child home alone for extended periods of time. That's not. There must be a different Emily Long. I was going to say, damn, how do they know? Emily Long case. Emily Long. Okay, here we go. Here's an article that tells me. Oh, yeah. Well, this one says 12 hours as well.
can hear computer. Let me know. They said family made the welfare check. They said family made the welfare check. Okay, my computer's back on now, so give me 1 second. Hopefully y'all can hear me. Let me know because I'm on my phone. Okay. Let me make sure that I got this charging. Where's that happening? It's like Ford City over here, honey. What the hell? Okay, give me 1 second. Give me 1 second, guys. Damn, I've been doing the whole lot, but I'm not even plugged in to the router either. It's all unprepared for today. All right, let's see. Let's get this shit untangled here. Hold on, guys. Be patient. Be patient. I know I'm not. I know I am not patient at all. Y'all have to be patient for me. All right, hold on a second. Let me see. All right, there's that. All right, that. And this one. All right. Where the hell? This one. Yeah, okay. I don't know what the hell it's talking about. Everything's plugged in. So let's see. All right. All right, now we're plugged in. I was going to say it is because it was telling me my battery, and I'm like, I'm plugged in. What is it talking about? All right, so give me a second. Let me get me back on my computer here. Well, it ran pretty damn good, I'll say, for me not being connected to the internet. Sorry, y'all. All right, now I'm done unplugged my phone. Now we're charging. We're good. We're good. Just got to roll with it, honey. Got to roll with it. All right, I'm going to end my phone because I think we're both, yeah, we're both up here now. Okay, so.
And I think our video is good to go. All right. There we go. Well, at least I have my phone over here, and woman who declared do or die after allegedly stabbing her neighbor is in trouble. Oh no. Woman orders 10 takeout meals for her kids on first date, then expects him to pay for it. That's got to be a rage bait. That's got to be a rage bait. Ain't no way. That's wild. All right, we're up and running. I was going to say, all right. All right, guys. This is going to be a long true crime, but I'm glad y'all are hanging in there with me. I'm loving it. Because we got to get to these updates. We got to get to the updates. All right.
Here are the latest updates as of Tuesday, August 26, 2025. In the case of baby Emmanuel Harrow, the parents were both charged with murder and a false police report. Jake Harrow, 32, and Rebecca Harrow, 41, have officially been charged with the murder of their 7-month-old son, Emmanuel Harrow. They also face a misdemeanor charge of filing a false police report. Prosecutors are seeking a $1 million bond. for each of them. Arraignment is scheduled for September 4th. Both appeared briefly in a Riverside County courtroom today, but did not enter a plea. Their next court appearance is scheduled for September 4th. Search for the child's remains are ongoing as investigators conducted an extensive search in a remote field in Moreno Valley, near the 60 freeway and Gilman Springs Road, joined by cadaver dogs and the father of the child. Emmanuel's body was not found, and the search is continuing, with the investigation turning towards homicide. Initial claims by Rebecca O'Hara that she had been assaulted and her son abducted from a parking lot outside a Big Five sporting goods store in Yucapa on August 14th were deemed inconsistent. Authorities now believe no kidnapping occurred and consider Emmanuel deceased. Background on the father revealed prior abuse to a child and protective services were involved. Jake Harrow does have a troubling history. He was convicted in 2018 for willful child cruelty involving his then 10-week-old who suffered severe injuries. In 2023, he pled guilty to child neglect, receiving a suspended sentence. In 2024, he was arrested for violating that probation by possessing a firearm. Additionally, as we know, their 2-year-old child was also removed from the home and placed in the custody of Riverside County Child Protective Services. Rebecca Harrow insists she is innocent, claiming that her baby was abducted. In a jail interview, good dad. Of the timeline of when things. I did notice in the court documents, it says that this crime happened on August 5th. And as you see here, August 14th is when Emmanuel was reported missing and the mother claimed assault and kidnapping. Of course, authorities continue searching for Emmanuel's remains and reviewing potential evidence. The case will proceed through the Riverside County justice system. And let's take a look at some of the updates that have happened since we last spoke about this. When we left off last week, we had found out that the house right across the street had caught fire. Also, that there was a dumpster right down the road from that where they had thrown away baby Emmanuel's clothes, pictures, basically trying to what seemed to be erase him from existence. Also, people have been allegedly taking tours of the home since the parents' arrest, and the cops have been out there, I believe, on a few occasions to get people out of the home. As we know, that could very well be a crime scene, or there could be things that they have missed that they can go back in there and get. So for anybody to go in there to quote-unquote tour is absurd to me. But let's take a look at some of the updates. Take a listen.
House is now fully engulfed, guys.
Okay, this is the house, you guys. But it's not connected, they said.
No, it's not the dumpster, guys. The dumpster's down the street.
I just wanted to show you guys.
They set a trailer on fire, an RV. Now the whole home is fully engulfed. Where is the fire department?
Yeah, Kelsey, it's sad. I think they wanted to take advantage
Guys,
of
this
that.
to refrain everybody again. This is not
Yeah.
Jake's house. This is not affiliated with the family. The glass just broke in the house. That's Jake's house right there, where the missing baby is. We don't know what's in this house, guys.
Yeah.
There was trying
There's a
to
lot
get
went on.
access in from that gate down there.
So Rebecca's brother is actually in jail for red rum. He's serving, I believe, 50 years. And the grandmother who insists that these parents are innocent. We covered this last Tuesday if you missed the episode. But these parents, she insists are innocent. She also insists that her son who's in prison is innocent and he deserves a new trial despite all of the evidence that he's guilty. So yeah, their whole family on both sides have major issues. And it seems that red rum is a violence, especially, is something that is ingrained in both sides of baby Emmanuel's family, both his dad's side and his mother's side. It's tragic. And it seems like someone said, the family barely even knew. It seemed like they barely even knew the baby existed. Um, and I feel like they were trying to take advantage of that, like get rid of all of his stuff and just act like he never existed. It's terrible. Yeah, I think the family knew what was up. They knew something.
Yes, we do have the pyros on video. I chased them down the street. They took off across the railroad tracks over there where the fire department's coming from.
Yes, Julie.
We chased them down that way and they went across
What a mess.
the street and across the railroad tracks and into that field. Fire department is here now, guys. I got good ID on them. I got pictures. The sheriff's gonna get it from me after they get done. So
Look at that. I mean, it was burning.
here
but
they
the
go. They
dumpsters-
are throwing the hoses out, guys.
The dumpster's right down the street that they found the stuff in, and then that's the house
Exactly.
that caught
While
fire.
the news outlets were here, it happened. I was just right down the street, and Noe
Right, yes.
hit me up and said, "Hey, man, these guys just started this fire, and they're going
Yes.
down the street.
Yep.
Let's get these firefighters in action, guys. Y'all make sure y'all share this video."
Well, you have to remember, and I think that's which we'll get into that later in this video, but I think that what he did, if you guys don't know, I touched on it earlier in the video, but in 2018, he was married and had a little girl, and he abused her and tried to put it on the wife at the time and tried to blame her. And sadly, that baby has I believe, less than 10% brain function at this time. And that's all because of him. And he was still on probation because he had already violated that probation in 2024 with possession of a pew-pew. And so he was still on paper when this happened. Why he was even allowed around children, I'll never understand.
Man,
We are,
crazy.
just like I say, right next door to the missing child Emmanuel's house.
Yes, Dawn, I
That
showed it
is
earlier.
Jake's house right there, Jake and Rebecca. Fire started out while we were all over here. Our firefighters are in TAC mode, guys. We got Riverside County 24s here on scene.
What are the chances, man? That's crazy.
They're masking up and
It's
hosing
crazy.
out.
All right.
The heat is intense over here, guys.
Man. Sorry, guys. I went to pause it. Yes. So if you missed that earlier in the video, they did take, which I'm wondering if the dad is not just playing games, because why would you take officers to a rural area if that's not where the baby was? But I'm almost like, is he playing games just to get out of the jail cell at this point? Because it was off, I believe, it was in the early, like I said, it was earlier in the video. I talked about it. It was off Highway 60. I don't know if that's correct, but again, it's if you rewind, you'll see it. But yes, it was a rural area. They took him out of his jail cell, took him down there in Orange, shackled, but sadly, baby Emmanuel's body was not discovered there. So playing games. Yeah, I just feel like, is that just his way to see what the media coverage is about and to get a little attention or something? It's crazy. Because why would you take him there if he wasn't there? Doesn't make sense at all. Get it together. Video. What are we circling about here? Try restarting your device. Hell no, I'm not restarting my device. Hold on. Restart my damn device. Sorry, guys. I'm about to have it. It already died. I don't want it to turn it off.
Fire started out while we were all over here.
All right, let's see.
But there were some inconsistencies
against the
Oh, that is.
prosecutors are
Okay, here we
still
go.
weighing charges against the parents of Emmanuel Hara This is the missing boy's mother right there on the left-hand side of your screen. She maintains her innocence as she is behind bars.
Right,
Mario
Gigi.
Ramirez with Fox 11 LA has been following this story from the get-go and joins us live over in Riverside. And Mario, a very sad story here. What is the latest?
Yeah, it really is, Josh. Good morning to you. This has gripped the nation's attention since it was reported that 7-month-old baby Emmanuel Haro was missing. His mother initially reporting that he was kidnapped on August 14th out of the Inland Empire, but there were some inconsistencies in her story. According to sheriff's investigators, both parents have been arrested. They're behind bars this morning, and they're set to appear in court here at this Riverside County Courthouse as early as this afternoon, pending charges from the Riverside County District Attorney's Office. And while investigators have concluded that a kidnapping never occurred, Emmanuel's mother, Rebecca Haro, speaking out from behind bars. She's sticking to her initial story. She spoke with the Southern California News Group, insisting that her child was kidnapped, saying that she wants to be out looking for her baby. Also speaking about her husband, saying he's a good dad and he wouldn't hurt a baby. Now, that interview from behind bars on the same day, Sunday, Jake Haro was seen pulled from his jail cell out in a remote field, joining investigators in the search off the 60 freeway in Moreno Valley. That's about 10 miles south of where baby Emmanuel was reported missing. San Bernardino County Sheriff's deputies arresting the couple on Friday of last week at their home in Cabazon, both booked on suspicion of murder. And again, they're set to appear in court as early as today. Rebecca Haro, the boy's mother, initially telling authorities that infant had been kidnapped August 14th outside a Big Five sporting goods store in Yucaipa. Investigators determining that kidnapping never occurred based on surveillance footage and interviews with the parents. Jake and Rebecca Haro's other son, a 2-year-old, was removed from the family's home by Riverside County Children's Services unharmed, we've learned, but as a precaution as that investigation continued. And prior to the parents being arrested, authorities said they conducted extensive searches in Yucaipa and Cabazon with those latest search efforts off of the 60 freeway in Moreno Valley. So again, Josh, here in Riverside County, both parents, Rebecca and Jake Haro, are expected to appear in court as early as this afternoon, and the Riverside District Attorney's Office expected to file those charges here in the next few hours. For now,
As I said, they did appear in a Riverside court that he's standing in front of today. They were only there a few minutes. They did not put in their plea, and they are supposed to be arraigned on September 4th. So, but they did put those charges against them. So again, they were there just for a few minutes, didn't even enter a plea. So we'll see. That will continue on September 4th. They set the judge wanted a $1 million bond. They're both on $1 million bonds right now.
that's the latest here on Mario Ramirez. Josh, will send it back to you.
And Mario, I did want to ask you, what happens next here in the legal process? As you mentioned, the parents could appear in court.
I'm going to find out if you guys don't know, they had a funeral about, I think it was a week before he allegedly was kidnapped. So I don't think it was August 5th. But they did have a funeral because the grandmother mentioned it and said, I just buried a grandson. I don't remember exactly when she said, but she said, I just buried a grandson recently, and now we're dealing with this. I don't know if he was cremated or buried, but that would be interesting because if they just had that funeral, I wonder if he's in if the brother was buried, is he in the casket? Is he at the cemetery? Because that would be insane. I'm going to look up to see if the brother was cremated or not.
As early as later on today, but what's next as we see this all play out?
Well, right now, Jake and Rebecca Haro are being held without bail behind bars as we speak. And according to Riverside County jail records, the pending charge is felony murder with malice. So the next step is that official arraignment. Well, they'll appear in court and make pleas, but legal experts say it could be weeks, even months, possibly years before this eventually gets to a trial, considering the complexity of the case and the fact that that 7-month-old's baby, the baby's body has yet to be found as the search continues this morning. Josh.
Got the sister?
Yeah.
Do you guys only have 2 kids?
Yes.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I kind of.
Okay, so this is actually I believe this was a neighbor of theirs that approached them and took this recording, I believe, without their knowledge. And this is what they told her, which in this conversation, this is why I think that he is going. Can you hear me? Let me know if you can hear me. Hold on. Hello, hello. Well, shit. Hello, hello. I didn't realize if you all could hear me. Okay. So anyway, this was a secret recording that was done um, by one of the neighbors. I believe she was a neighbor.
Imagine, you know, I try to put myself in that. I'm like, I know they're up. We were like, we know they're up. They're not sleeping. You know, we were up too, and you know, we're just like,
we're exhausted.
I know. I bet.
Partially delusional.
Where were you at when this happened?
I was at the park. I was at the park watching my son play football. Well, I had her
and then I go on. I take the baby. We're shopping.
Yeah, that's how I am too. I go to the store.
It was horrible.
It does.
The worst feeling ever.
It is.
Balling ourselves.
No, you're just numb right now.
Yeah.
You're just numb. You know.
The way the cops were treating us was horrible.
Really.
Yeah. It's been a roller
They don't want to let us know nothing.
There are a lot of good cops. I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
They're just doing their job, but it's a horrible feeling, you know.
No, yeah. So I seen on the picture like your baby was something wrong with the eyes. Is that what they're saying?
A little crazy eye.
Okay.
But it's getting corrected, and he was correcting.
No, he was on no medication or nothing. Okay, so.
He's a healthy baby. So his little eye sometimes goes.
Yeah, my daughter was like that too. Yeah. So.
She was on medication for her eyes?
Yeah.
What was she?
Well, she had a genetic.
This is interesting.
It was a genetic disease. It was in December. That's when like it's cold, you know.
That's when his birthday was.
Oh, yeah. Her birthday is December 6th, and she got like a flu and all that. Was admitted. They didn't think nothing of it. I'm sorry. Until they did genetic testing, and then, you know, it's hard. But this is harder, you know. This is harder.
Police continue to search for the body of 9-month-old Emmanuel.
Okay, so I found that interesting because the neighbor asked about the health of the child. And, you know, people had speculated from the picture of him that there may have been something wrong. People were saying, did he shake this baby as well when he was little? Is this what's wrong with him? Things like that. So it was interesting. Again, she recorded that, I don't think with their knowledge, but you know, where he distances himself and says, "Oh, I was at the ball field watching my son play." I feel like clearly he's been through this situation before. He tried to pin it on his ex-wife. I feel like now he's distancing himself. Clearly, I feel like the baby had been unalive way prior to August 14th when she went to that store. Because they had already set it up by asking about their car getting broken into to see if they actually had cameras or not. So him sending her there alone saying, "Oh, you got attacked." I feel like that was all his master plan to then say, "Hey, I wasn't around. Like that's on her. I don't know what she did with the baby." Um I don't think I noticed some people said that they were going to maybe get away with this. I don't think that's the case. I know she is saying that, you know, Jake is such a great dad and he didn't do anything and she's maintaining her innocence. But the fact that the dad is out there on the side of the road with the police tells me that there's something he said or something they got out of him, or why else would he be on the side of the road? I think it was 20 minutes from where she said he was abducted from the store or whatever. But I definitely think he's going to try to pin this shit on her and try to, you know, be the scapegoat, make her the scapegoat and try to get out of it. But I don't know. Tuesday night update. What do you mean, Karen? I'm doing
Harrow tonight. Sources tell News Nation that police believe the father killed the baby, and they say it happened inside the home. Sources tell us a substantial amount of blood was found on the carpet inside. Lauren, sources tell News Nation not only that there was a lot of blood inside the home, but that all the photos of Emmanuel had been removed from the house. All the baby's clothing had been thrown away. How long do we think this baby might have been dead?
I think that we are suspecting actually quite a long time, according to, the true crime podcasting community. They have been speculating when the last time Emmanuel was seen. We're hearing various dates, some even saying as early as August 3rd, but there's no sighting that we have known of the day of this. Now we don't even have to say alleged kidnapping. Well, I guess alleged kidnapping still, but
alleged murder in this case.
Alleged murder now, right? Exactly. Thank you, Elizabeth. And we are seeing this sort of pattern of it's been quite some time since baby Emmanuel has been seen. So who knows when this alleged murder now actually even happened.
As we shared earlier this week, baby clothing was also allegedly discovered in a dumpster near the family home. While authorities have not confirmed whether the clothing belonged to Emmanuel, the fact that none of his clothes were found in the house only deepens suspicion.
Right.
We're also learning new details about what may have happened in the days leading up to the reported abduction. Sources indicate that Rebecca and Jake Harrow may have actually been scouting the Big 5 parking lot beforehand, specifically to assess the surveillance camera situation. It's been reported that in the days prior, the Harrows either called or visited the shopping center, claiming something had been stolen from their vehicle. And what was their alleged purpose? To find out whether cameras were watching the parking lot. As it turns out, the Big 5 itself had no cameras pointed at the parking lot. But what the Harrows may not have accounted for, or, actually maybe considered, is that other nearby businesses did, including a clothing store, a jewelry shop, and even a restaurant across the street.
Okay, here's my thing. If Big 5 didn't have any cameras on the outside pointed to the parking lot, did they not have cameras on the inside of their store? Is there even footage that she had a baby in the store? I don't see how. One, I don't understand how they don't have cameras outside. But two, why would they not have cameras inside to catch people? I don't even know what kind of store it is, to be honest. But why wouldn't they have cameras on the inside to catch people stealing? If nothing else, they're employees. So I found that interesting. I'm wondering if police have that, because was she ever with a child?
Street. Those cameras, investigators say, could end up being critical to the case. In another disturbing revelation, we've learned that just days before the reported abduction, Rebecca and Jake Harrow were seen at the Do It Best Home Center in Beaumont, California. And according to these reports, they attempted to purchase a tool known as a Sawzall. The store didn't have one in stock, so no purchase was made. Now, we can't say for certain why they wanted the saw. Maybe it was for a project. When you place that attempted purchase against the backdrop of murder charges, your mind goes in unsettling directions. The possibility that it could have been intended for something far darker is horrifying to even consider. And sadly, there is precedent for violence in this family. Jake Harrow has been accused in the past of severely abusing another one of his children, a baby, leaving her permanently disabled, unable to see, speak, or walk. Meanwhile, Rebecca reportedly has no relationship with her two oldest daughters. Taken together, it raises questions about their capacity for parental care or lack thereof. What makes this all the more chilling is how both Rebecca and Jake presented themselves publicly. They stood on television side by side begging for help to find their son. But if prosecutors are right, that entire story was a fabrication. They cried, pleaded, and portrayed themselves as desperate parents, all while allegedly knowing what really happened to Emmanuel. Anyone who can carry out such an act and then so convincingly lie to the public leaves open the terrifying question, what else might they have been capable of? So what happens now that Rebecca and Jake Harrow are behind bars
Many experts believe investigators will work to turn the couple against each other.
It's interesting that you said that, Ballhead, so I'm going to pin that comment because it will bring me into something I want to discuss later.
Know from Jake's past that he's no stranger to shifting blame onto his partner, a pattern that could easily resurface in this case. But given his history of violence, it's very possible he was the one who harmed baby Emmanuel. And according to Elizabeth
And
Vargas,
her.
while I was on a panel for the Elizabeth Vargas report, she claims Jake is responsible for the alleged murder.
Sources tell News Nation that police believe the father killed the baby, and they say it happened inside the home.
If that proves true, the big question becomes whether Rebecca, now separated from Jake behind bars and facing serious charges herself, will finally break her silence and tell investigators what really happened. The next steps in this investigation may hinge on whether one of them decides to talk. In the meantime, the search for baby Emmanuel's body continues. Authorities are following up on multiple leads, including a dam in Paris, California, and a landfill in Beaumont. One of the reporters who has been on the front lines of this case from the very beginning, Ahmed Beozo, has even been tracking down tips himself. In fact, right after he filmed one particular lead, sheriff's deputies arrived at the same location to investigate. Take a look.
Ahmed Beozo, we have made it to Yucaipa, California, a new lead where Rebecca and Jake Harrell were seen here at the Sanctuary Church in Yucaipa, California. And it was midnight. My constituent and source was driving with his family. He said he observed Rebecca and Jake Harrell driving up and down 5th Street in Yucaipa on the 12th at midnight, okay? He seen Rebecca pushing a black stroller here to the back of the property. You can see just how vast this property is here on the Tira. Rebecca was seen pushing a black stroller through the property here, and you can see there's rocks there. There's a whole layout on the Tira. There's containers over there, homie. There's a tree line here as well. And then you can see this property is very, very vast on the Tira. And so the question remains, what was Rebecca and Jake Harrell doing here at midnight with a black stroller on this property? And so if we get closer, you can see police should really take a look at this portion of the Tira, homie. Wow. Just wow. There is a hole in the fence here. There is a sewer drainage here. I mean, it's just a vast, there's a box. Oh, thank goodness. It's literally enough for you fine folks to get a cadaver team out here in Yucaipa, homie. I really hope this information helps here on 5th Street and Yucaipa Boulevard at the Sanctuary Church, homie. There is a drain here. You can see that there is in fact a drain here on the Tira. Now you see here on this portion of the drain, there is fresh dirt here. There's another small pile here. Doesn't look like it would be anything, no. If police wanted to come out here and look, this would be a very, very good place to start. Sheriff's deputies have now entered the chat.
That's crazy.
Also, you can see them here. They are
Kelly.
going. Baby, bring the flashlight. Can you guys come over here? You can see here now, San Bernardino County Sheriff's deputies have now entered the chat here. We don't know
Entered the
if
chat.
it could be possibly an animal, or we don't know. And so thank goodness that the sheriff's deputies have now entered the chat here to try to figure out if we can in fact get some answers on the Tira. How you doing? I'm just gonna follow the deputies here. Do you mind if I walk with you, deputy or sergeant?
Hang out here in case
Okay, so.
we do something and it's not, we don't disturb.
Oh, wow.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, and he's sick
It's right. It
too.
should be right
He's
there by
dealing
the
with a lot
fifth
of medical
post.
issues.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It would be a small hole in the ground. There should be a little
Yeah,
makeshift
Linda.
cross.
I'm just wondering now. I need to find out. I've been looking since we're
More
live.
to the right.
But I need to find out if that guy, if they
There's a
buried
hole
him.
there.
A vigil for baby Emmanuel drew dozens in Cabazon,
Yeah, Queen.
many relieved by his parents' arrest and in anguish over the 7-month-old's whereabouts.
We just wanted to get together and kind of just show them that we are here for baby Emmanuel. He deserved the justice, and I'm really hoping that he's found alive.
Investigators unfortunately do not believe Emmanuel is alive. The baby's parents, Jake and Rebecca Haro, were arrested Friday morning on suspicion of murder.
I feel like it gives me more questions because, like, how as a parent, like, even just as a person, can you do it to an innocent child?
The arrest comes 8 days after the Haros reported Emmanuel missing, claiming he was kidnapped outside a Big Five store in Yucaipa. The San Bernardino Sheriff's Department says Jake and Rebecca later stopped cooperating with investigators. The story has struck a chord with many parents in the Inland Empire.
And our youngest being 4 months, so, I mean, it kind of hits home for us because, you know, I mean, we have kids ourselves.
All hoping for some answers and justice for baby Emmanuel.
Hopefully, we find the baby. That's what we want.
We want to know what happened to Emmanuel.
Darsha Phillips, NBC
2021, I think.
Car seat.
Okay, wait.
And I let him.
I think his brother passed away in that house in 2021, though, right? It wasn't last year, was it? Let me look it up just to make sure. Jake Haro's brother passed away in the home. Okay. Yeah, on 5/6/21. Jake Haro's brother, Hector Haro, died inside Jake and Rebecca's home. So it was actually in 2021, I believe. Yeah, 5/6/21. So the brother did not pass away in that home last year. He passed away in the home, like I said, 5/6/21. So 4 years ago. 2021. Yeah, Hector Haro. I'm saying it wrong. I'm sorry. I can't say it the right way, but you guys know, no disrespect to them. I'm not good at saying that. But I did want to show you this. You guys know I live in South Carolina. Some of you are familiar with Susan Smith. Susan Smith and her account are very much the same. If you don't remember, I do put up on there, I explain in writing what Susan Smith did. She cried for 9 days on national television that her children were abducted by a black man. It has so many similarities because Rebecca Haro said that someone said Ola. So just like Susan Smith, who targeted the black community and made people think that there was some black man out here stealing children, Rebecca Haro is doing the same thing to the Hispanic community by saying that someone said Ola and hit her over the head. But I want you guys to listen to the similarities in their stories. So this is Rebecca in 2025 and Susan Smith in 94. Listen to this.
Him down and so I could get his diapers ready, and somebody said Ola, and that's all I remember. And I saw white, and hearing sound, I fell on the floor, and I said as I got up, I couldn't find my son. I checked all around my truck, and I ran into Big Five, and I asked the lady if she saw a baby or someone with a baby. She said no.
I was stopped at a red light, and I was looking this way, looking toward the left, and it was just like, just in a second, he was in my car. He just opened the car door, and I just screamed. I said, "What are you doing?" He just shut up and drive, and he had a gun, and he was poking it in my side, and told me to drive. And so I drove, and I was trying to ask them one time, why, what do you want? Please just, don't hurt me or the children. He said, and he never said anything. All he ever told me was, "Shut up or I'll kill you." He said, "Don't say anything else." And my children were crying, and I was trying to tell them, that it was okay, that, don't worry. And he would, and he let me talk to them. And then we just got maybe 3 or 4 miles down the road, and he told me, he said, "I want you to stop." And I said, "Stop right here?" He said, "Yeah, stop right here." And it was just in the middle of the road. I mean, and I stopped, and he told me to get out, and I was in the driver's side, he was in the passenger side, and so I opened the door. I said, I'm going to get my children.
Hold on. It's literally like the same story. I mean, she got carjacked. I mean, it's the same type of thing. When clearly Susan Smith had actually left her children strapped in their car seats and let her car roll off into the water. Those children suffered immensely. And I believe Susan Smith got out of jail. I think she's out now. But their stories, their accounts, and like how they acted, everything to me was so similar. I had to show you guys that. Susan Smith cried like for 9 days. Obviously, they didn't get away with it for that long, but we're 31 years in the future, so right? Yeah. All right, so this is what I was talking about, taking tours, because people are breaking in the home. Once the parents were arrested on Friday, people started breaking in the home and taking what they are calling tours of the house. Now, cops obviously did get to go in and process some of the stuff, but clearly sometimes they want to go back to a crime scene several times. They may have missed something the first time. So the fact that people are going through this house knowing that there's still a child missing is insane to me. It's just absurd.
No one can go inside the property. I'm gonna be here for a minute.
You've been here for a minute?
Yeah. I'm the one that touched you.
You live in the area?
No, I didn't see them because I would have told them my child.
It's ridiculous that people are going inside the fucking house.
I didn't go inside.
Yes, I seen you.
I didn't go in the house.
You went into the property.
I didn't go in the house.
Yes, but you were inside there.
Listen. We were right here because the guy kept trying to offer people tours.
The one that you guys
Then why would you think that's okay? Why would you think that's physically okay? Mentally okay?
Yeah,
this is the place.
You say because I didn't go in their house, and you're telling people I went in their house.
Am I pointing at you? No.
You did a minute ago.
Yes, you did.
Well,
yeah, you
whoever
did.
I'm going like this.
But your
okay?
whatever could make a big mistake for me. So you should think about it.
Down the street.
Thank you.
I'm sorry.
You making this ruckus out here is a disgrace.
You guys are acting like this is a fucking circus.
Private property, okay? They can't go on the property.
That was a neighbor.
You can't just be going in there. There's reports that people are going.
Okay, Susan Smith, you guys just updated me in the comments, so I would like to say it on the live. Susan Smith was actually denied parole, so she goes up for parole again. I think, Lyric, did you say 2026? So she is still in prison. So maybe that's what I heard, that she was going up. I just remember it being in the news that Susan Smith was going to get out. So maybe that's what it was, that she was just getting a parole hearing and people thought she was going to get out. So Lyric says Susan Smith gets a new parole hearing 11/26. Okay, I appreciate that information. Thank you guys so much. But yeah, so that was a neighbor that lived right down the street, and you can see she was visibly upset that these people were going in that house. I think she gets it. I don't think they do. I think people are sensationalized by the story. They want to go in, see what they see, things like that. They're not thinking logically, in my opinion, like, hey, this is a crime scene for all we know.
In the property for tours. This is not something we should be going to for tours. We need to stay off the property. If people get caught on the property inside of the house, I don't want other people to end up with charges that really, when they shouldn't be where they shouldn't be. This is private property. If you don't have the means to be there, stay off the property. Okay? People are watching. There's neighbors in the neighborhood. Also, you got to keep the driveway clear for emergency services. You guys all stand in the middle of the driveway like we're coming in. You need to get out of the way. please move. Keep the driveway open. Because the reality is, something's going to happen and we need to get in here, medical, emergency, and you guys, we've got little kids running around in the middle of the street. Somebody's going to get hit.
Okay, so this.
You see that fence right there?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is something else that has been going around social media. The lady claims that Jake tossed the baby at this location. Now, of course, we all know people say things, whatever. But I just wanted to show this because it is obviously going around the internet.
Oh, so he just threw him?
Like he just threw him, and then he rolled, and that's where he landed, like in that fence.
Wow, okay. So a lady right here just said that I guess he had pulled over to the side of the freeway right here, and in a trash bag, he threw him, and he rolled all the way down to where you see a fence down there. I'm not sure if you guys could see a fence.
So they're saying that I don't understand the whole concept of he threw him, he rolled, and he landed at the fence and all these things. Where is he now? I don't understand that part of it. But yeah, Kelsey, the last few, I mean, they're always, True Crime Tuesdays are always great, but they really have kicked it up the last few weeks, and I appreciate all the support. Sadly, the cases have been plentiful, sadly, and I just don't know. Right, Missy, that's what I'm saying. Like, is she just trying to get attention? Does she really know? I mean, who knows? I just don't understand. Where is he now? And if you saw that, when was this? Like, I have so many more questions. When was this? How did it happen? Why didn't you report? There's so many things. But clearly, people have said the dad has confessed. I don't know. I have not seen that as far as like court docs. Let me see. I did have some pictures of some court documents here. Let's see what. Just about the arraignment and stuff, but it just said a felony in custody arraignment. That was at 1:30 today. That really didn't say anything. But like I said, on those court docs, they did say that date, August 5th, which I was like, People versus Jake Mitchell Harrow. Because you can actually see it. And it says, even on Jake's, which I found that funny too, because on Jake's, it says, we know he was on probation, but it says on him that he has $1 million bond. So I'm not sure why he would even have a bond if he was on, if he was on probation. Why does he even have a bond, you guys? That didn't make any sense to me. Let me show you this real quick. That didn't make any sense to me. But, this is, a case, both cases. Well, Emily Long case, I don't think that's, obviously that's not an ongoing case because it's such a tragedy. There is a toddler that's left behind. I don't know if there will be more things that come out about that case as far as did she leave a note and things like that. But obviously we know that there will be no trial there. Sadly, there is no one to go to trial. But this Emmanuel Haro case, I mean, just in the week that we have, since I covered it, the very first live, there's been so much that has went on. And I believe that it's only going to get worse. I mean, clearly there's a reason why he was out there on the side of the road, right? So a lot of people are saying he confessed. There was a reason. I mean, they don't just take someone out on the side of the road in a missing persons case from jail, but she is still, from her jailhouse interview, she is still maintaining her innocence and her husband's innocence. So it is interesting to know that he's out there in a field with police and she's doing a jailhouse interview saying that they're both innocent. Shout out to Lyric for that super chat. I love the malarkey, but I especially love TCT nights. The community that's been built here is family. I agree, Lyric. I agree. They always want to talk crap about True Crime Tuesdays or my other content or whatever they want to say, but we truly have built something here and I love it. All right, so here is the court doc. And you can see here it says, this is Jake's, and it says People versus Jake Mitchell Harrow, felony, Riverside, Department 61. It has the case file, the number, and everything. It says they filed on 8/26/2025. People versus Jake Harrow, and it says right here, ordered bail 1 million, posted bail 0. So I thought that was interesting that he is on. We know he was on. Well, that's what they have reported, that he was on probation still from the 2018 incident. Where he was convicted of that child abuse, I believe is what it was, the charge, but or child cruelty. And so I just thought that was odd that he would even have a bail, right? Um, they said he was, yeah, right, Vicky, but he didn't. That's the thing, and that's what I'm saying. If he was going to show where the baby was, that's him admitting that the baby is not alive, right? So the fact that he's clearly admitted that the child is no longer with us and she's doing jailhouse interviews, maintaining their innocence, I find that particularly odd. Clearly, she doesn't think that he's going to say something, or she's so scared she's not going to ever say something. I mean, she clearly had two black eyes. Was she a victim in this? Was she being abused too? Was she too scared to say something? Did she cover it up with him because he did it and he was abusive not only to the children and her? We will find out. But I do think that's interesting that she is maintaining her, not only her innocence, but his, saying she needs to get out of jail to go find her child. And he's in a field with the police in shackles trying to point out the body. So this is definitely a developing case, and I will keep you guys updated. Thank you guys so much for showing up and showing out as always. And I will see you guys on Thursday. I'm sure there'll be more things to come. Then I will see you guys Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern. And thank you guys so much. I'll be back on shortly with the Malarkey. The live is already set up. I've just got to go take a little break and tinkle and I'll be back soon with the Malarkey. But I love you guys and I will see you soon. If you don't come to the Malarkey, then I'll see you on the next episode of True Crime Tuesday with me, your host, Feminine and Fierce. I hope you guys have enjoyed this episode. Until next time, bye.